Brought to you by PlayStation Store. Access to the ultimate in games and entertainment.
And look at these fine gentlemen, Brad Muir and the one and only Deal Easy, Dave Lang is here.
One thing has changed since the last intro. Like, Alexander was here.
Yeah.
You described that group as handsome.
Yeah.
He steps out, I step in. The fine gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would
You're
anyone argue with
fine
this?
gentleman. Technically, he's double fine gentleman. So it kind of counts for both of you guys.
Never been madder than I am right now.
That's what happens when you wear an Ole Miss cap onto our
It's
show,
really
my
how
friend.
angry he
You
is.
see this?
You can see his face.
Which camera?
Bunny ears, no, that one there. You got that one there? Yeah.
Oh, that is vicious.
Oh,
man.
no!
Oh, it's serious
Oh,
now.
no.
The transition,
no.
the transition lenses have come
Oh
off.
shit, we got ourselves a thumbnail.
me a fine gentleman.
Thank you.
Actually, what I do want to talk to you guys about is that some news came out earlier that Mad Max, the video game, which is not associated with either the film or the old film or any sort of Mad Max play or book or anything that is associated with Mad Max, is coming out September 1st, actually, same day as Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero.
Counter programming.
Exactly,
They're
yes.
so different, right?
Open world.
I have not seen this yet. This is great.
So
Video game experts on the couch, having not seen this trailer before.
But they also announced that they've dropped the previous gen version. So they were originally going to make a PS3 and Xbox 360 version of this bad boy as well. I wanted to ask you guys, as gentlemen who are part of making games for consoles and whatnot, at what stage do you sort of look at the numbers and go, you know what, that previous gen is dead, all of our customers on the new stuff, we're not going to put any more resources into working on those consoles
I
anymore?
think it's different for something like Mad Max, where you've got like physical goods you have to buy and inventory and keep. For stuff we're doing, there's none of that. So
Yeah.
if you can keep the dev cost super low, there's no reason not to be, because we don't have COGS, right?
You
So
should
COGS means cost of
absolutely-
goods.
Cost of goods?
Yeah.
What's a
that means.
cost of good?
COGS. Just
Well, what
told
is
you
it?
that.
What's a cost
What
of
are the
good?
goods you're referring to here?
how
Like
much
is
disc,
the
the
massive
packaging,
open world or the actual
distribution.
physical stuff?
Oh,
the
really?
whole thing
Stuff.
to get the actual
Oh.
disc into the store and sell it,
Yeah.
and then pay those people and all
And then
that
store them and ship them and all
Yeah.
that jazz. It's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense for. There's a point where, probably a long time ago, where it doesn't make sense to do that.
Wow, so that was a genuine, like, even with like the sort of distribution channels presumably being there, like there is still such a large cost with getting stuff into
Yeah,
stores.
I mean, these like, so say like, COGS, every publisher has their own terms for COGS, but just say hypothetically, they're $5, right?
on every game.
Yeah.
Really?
If you make, print 3 million, you have to spend 15 million to do that, right?
Yeah.
And if you're confident you're not going to make that back, then why, So it's a thing.
It's like a bigger risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, with I think like the really big releases and the ones that appeal to the hardcore community, like at this point, I guess we're like 2 years in.
Yeah.
By September, we'll be like 2 years into the life cycle, and that's like most of the people that would give a shit about that kind of game, like a big AAA kind of like thing, they've probably moved on. And if you're gonna put it out on the 360 and the Xbox One, it's like most of the people, if they, if they're interested in it, they probably have an Xbox One and they'll buy it there. Like the cost of development to kind of like scale everything down and get it onto the old hardware and stuff, it's just going to cost a bunch, because you're trying to like maximize the current hardware and like blow it out and just really try to make it. Of course, with a game like this, yeah, you're trying to like just make it look as fucking sweet as possible and get bump maps and spec maps and get all this stuff on the dudes and things.
What's the
you know?
difference between a bump and a spec map?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
I knew it. I could tell by the way you said it. The way you're
Spec
doing
map
this all
is
over your
the-
face, like,
is
he
the
doesn't know what he's
specularity.
saying right now.
And then the
No, don't try
bumpiness.
it.
No
the
one
bump
cares,
map
no
is
one
for
cares.
bumpiness. That's how it
there
works.
we go.
Killed it.
Specularness.
We also
Checks
get
out.
games like Shadow of Mordor, right? Which its last gen versions had like less features. I
Yes.
mean, it wasn't just that the world was less beautiful or less dingy, as the case may be. Like the Nemesis system couldn't be as complex on the 360 and PS3 versions. So at that point, like, is it diminishing returns on that last
Yeah,
thing? Is it like you're not actually making the game you want to be making? You're making a compromised
Yeah,
version
you don't
of
want
it?
people to have like a significantly crappier experience on the previous gen platform. But there is,
Going
I
out on a
mean,
limb there, Muir.
Your sound business
the,
practices.
Doesn't sit on the fence.
I would prefer the PS3 version
Yeah.
to suck.
yeah, if we could have a significantly crappier version, how much
Somebody
crappier?
screw them.
How much crappier can it be?
Then that's
Lang?
just going to spur them to buy the other one.
That's
Once they
what
bought
it is,
that
yeah.
one, boom,
That's
2
what
sales.
it took the Nemesis
Oh my God,
system
so
out
smart.
to get people to buy PS4s. You're both developers of games that were released digitally as well. Was there was there a sort of time where the numbers were like, okay, there are enough people like comfortable buying games digitally that we can now like release things only this way? Because I guess it's probably more for you, Dave, because like Massive Chalice is on Steam and that's a tried and tested sort of system by this stage.
Yeah.
But like creating an Xbox One game that was digital only, was that ever like a worry or anything?
Well, I figured like the choice we had to make recently was like dive kick. Do we bring it to Xbox One and PS4? And that's going to cost ahead of time. You're like, I think we'll sell this many units, and I think it'll cost this much to do it. And you just kind of like make the best educated guess you can.
That's how projections work too. You just go, I think we'll sell this much. Will probably cost this much.
Do you have like?
And if this one is bigger than this one,
And then no matter
you're like, bam, we're doing it. This one.
The weird thing though is
Look at that.
in this business,
The delta,
no matter
right?
how that goes, you lose money somehow.
I know, yeah,
It's
totally
the weirdest thing. It's like, no, this
Yeah.
one's high last time, and now this one's high, and we lost our ass both times. I don't get it at all.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just not two variables. Oh, man.
Do you guys have access to
Maybe
like
it's
good
like a
numbers for that
legit
stuff?
complex market.
Absolutely not.
Like Sony don't say we've got
No.
like. Do you go by MPD
No,
then,
it's
or
actually,
what?
it's
Do you look
actually
up
gotten-
GameSpot and
no,
try and get the
it's
numbers
It's gotten
that way?
You're just emailing your
significantly
friends.
shittier since it
Really?
went digital. Because,
Really?
well, yeah, because it's not like, I mean, Valve touts big numbers, but they're not like, yeah, we're just going to publish all the numbers on everything that we sell.
Right.
And then the publishers, like, they just, they kind of hold on to those digital numbers as well. At least when it was all physical, you could get the NPDs, and they were
Right.
like kind of in the ballpark, and it sort of made sense. That's before I knew kind of what I was doing. Though.
So do you think they're like
Not
intentionally?
like I do now. Crap. Whoops. But like, yeah, like I think that's how it went. Sort of back like in the PS2 days, is that the numbers that you had were a lot more reliable, right?
Like, do you
It's
think they're intentionally
Well, it's
obfuscating
not-
them?
Oh, yeah, it's
It's
like-
I mean, it's not their position to release those numbers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people that don't want those numbers getting out,
Yeah.
period, right? So, it's not really their call.
But even as somebody who's like, has a partnership with a console manufacturer, saying like, we're making this game for your machine, would you not have a relationship there
it's-
where you can be like, look, this is how many we've sold, this is how many people bought fighting games in for this console?
I mean, that stuff is useful for pitching for stuff. Like if you're
Right.
proposing to like project, like, hey, we think we want to make a fighting game, and we think the last one we did on this platform sold this many. With the budget of this, we can easily recoup that, like that kind of way. But it's all firsthand data. It's not like you can go to the source. Or what I just email my friends and say, hey, what'd your game do on the Wii U or 3DS
Really?
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you just cobble together like, okay, here's what a really good like
You gotta get your
Shovel Knight
comps,
did,
man. You gotta get
and
your
then
comps.
Here's what everyone else did on that platform. Which one do you think you're going to be?
It's awful.
And then you're like, we're gonna be like a Shovel Knight, because you're always like, yeah. And the reality is like,
Oh no. Oh,
what?
the reality.
Yeah, I mean
So
the
great.
reality, like if this is where you think things are,
I might burst into
the
tears
reality,
right now.
the reality thing. You said you were as good as you've ever been.
Oh, I'm never been better than I am
guess
right
the reality
now.
Is that
can
just
still
a
be-
damning?
I'm
super
committed
low.
to a platform of excellence in all things at all times.
Okay.
There you
My
go.
life is one of ascension.